Hello, and thank you for joining us at this HEM webinar. Um, you're in the right place. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes for the webinar about transforming the student journey from first click to first day with our student portal. See you soon. Just wanted to let you know you're in the right place and we'll be started soon. We're about 2 minutes away from starting our HEM webinar on our HEM SP platform. It's called Transform the Student Journey, First Click to the First Day with our student portal. You're in the right place, so sit tight for about 2 more minutes and we'll get started. We're now just 1 minute away from getting started for our HEM webinar. So you're in the right place, hang tight. We'll get started in about 1 minute. Okay, let's begin. Welcome to this HEM webinar called Transform the Student Journey from First Click to First Day with our student portal. Uh, this is brought to you by HEM Education Marketing Solutions. If you're not familiar with HEM, we are a digital marketing agency that serves the education sector exclusively. We serve only schools because we realize that the e-commerce aspect or the e-marketplace is crazy different for education in the education sector than it is anywhere else in e-commerce. And therefore, we provide these services that you see on your left. Today in our webinar, we'll be focusing on the bottom two, the CRM abilities, the online application portal. And we'll be doing that with me. I'm Scott Cross, and I'm your North American Manager of Sales and Consulting. And I'm joined today by Elias Nasser, our Director of Web Development. Hello, Elias, and how are you this afternoon?
Hi, Scott. All good, thanks. Hope you're doing well and happy to be here.
Awesome. All right. So today we will be doing a few things, all focused on that system HEMSP, and I want to show you the agenda. It's really going to begin more broadly with just our admissions realities in recruiting, well, actually attracting and recruiting and the admissions of prospective new students. And we're going to do this, going to kind of showcase this system through three scenarios. The first in these earliest stages of attraction, engagement, and lead generation. And then we'll take it from more of an administrative point of view in terms of pipeline management, also includes the applicant. And then we'll look finally at the student information system abilities, and then we'll wrap it all up at that point thereafter. And while we're here on the agenda, What you're seeing on the mobile phone, by the way, is the mobile interface or view of this system that we're about to be looking at. I wanted to mention that you will receive a recording of this webinar in your email over the next few days. It'll come soon. So you don't have to take notes crazily unless you want to, but you will receive a recording in your email. And also, we do invite your questions. Your questions, although I have your mics turned off during the webinar, you can type your questions into the Q&A icon in the Zoom meeting menu bar. And there, just type them in during the process of the webinar, and we'll open them up at the end, and Elias and I will answer those for you when we're done. So let's get started by looking at really the landscape in front of us, and it is an evolving landscape for sure, where we understand, of course, collectively, we all do. We know that Gen Z and Gen Alpha are tech savvy. They demand a seamless and mobile-friendly experience when they're online, really throughout, but specifically within the education admissions process. Think of it another way. They're working in places like Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, where the user experience is optimized routinely, and it's at the top of really the online game. Well, when they come to your school's website, their expectations are essentially that high. They want to see an experience in terms of their online inquiry and application to be on the level of Amazon, Facebook, and Netflix. So that's a tough bar to reach, but that's what we're trying to achieve in what we're presenting to you. The other reality is, and we know this is cyclical and we see it rising and falling in different parts of the world, but it's clearly a world economy and a world marketplace that we're in education. Students love traveling to other countries to study, not just the courses, but the culture and the experience, and perhaps plant in that country or bring it home to their home country. That is a norm, right? And so we want to make it easy for folks, whether they live just a few miles or kilometers away from campus, or if they're applying from around the world. We want to make that whole process to be easy. This is a graphic we've used a long time because it illustrates so many things. And what I want you to consider in the context of today's webinar is that all of these pipeline pathways are sending leads your way. Websites, social media, paid ads, email, other marketing, being print ads, outdoor ads, fairs or open houses, tours, agencies. And we talk to schools every day, and often we hear we have all of these different pathways coming into 2 or 3 or 4 different systems. How can we bring it all under one roof? And what we're really going to be looking to do is show you a system that can offer that can provide that. True to form, in our HEM webinars, we like to poll you, and we've got a few polls that we've kind of sprinkled toward the beginning of the webinar. So we'd like to get kind of a feel for where you guys are. First of all, how would you describe your institution's current application process? So we'll go ahead and launch the poll, and you can vote anonymously. Is your application process more paper-based or really fully paper-based? Is it partially digital, maybe a PDF application that folks can drop in, download, fill out? Is it a hybrid approach, or is it fully digital? So again, this is it's anonymous, and we'd love to have you go ahead and place your vote. Let us know how you feel and how it is at your school. This helps us in terms of presenting this content with that right filter. And it also helps you to see where you stand in comparison to those others attending. So let's go ahead and show the results of the poll. And it's great to see that a majority of you are fully digital and the rest of you are really getting there. You're close, which is great, we have seen fully paper-based in recent webinars, but today we're not seeing that. So that gives me great joy that we're seeing a nice move, a trend toward the bottom of this poll's answers. So that's awesome. Thank you very much for your engagement, for your answer. So it will come as no surprise to you the importance of being in tune and in sync with the evolution of the application process. We still do talk to schools that require you to come in, visit, tour the school before you fill out an application, because they feel that that visit is paramount, and it's basically a cinch that they will truly attend if they fill out that application after the tour, after the conversation. While I understand that, keep in mind, basically, I'd just like you to look at the face of the student who's in the top left image. That's not a happy face. I had to get up early. I had to get on the bus or the train. I had to get across town. I had to make time out just to be here. So, in terms of today's realities, that's not necessarily best for them. It also takes time from your team. And even if you provide that PDF, which is a drop down, click, download, and fill it out. Some people have to actually print it out to fill it out. Others can do it online, and then you save it or scan it and send it back. There's still quite a bit of process to be done there. And what you receive on your end are basically files that you have to type in manually to whatever system or systems you have. So there's room for error there for sure, and not the best experience. And now we look at the student who's just so happy to see that your school offers online applications and then this type of a portal. So it obviously worked for both the prospective student and for the administration that's working these leads. And we're going to really demonstrate and illustrate that all together. In a nutshell, and we always look at this timeline, this student journey from left to right across the top at HEM when we consider systems, or what are we talking about? What part of the process are we touching here? And it's really in those earliest stages that their admissions expectations are at quite the high level. So the prospects' admissions expectations, online, mobile friendly, they can choose their course, their campus, their term, their duration. They can upload documents easily, PDFs, PNGs, JPEGs. They can communicate with you and follow up via SMS, WhatsApp, email, phone. And your admissions expectations, I mean, above and beyond your realities today, you want this to be smooth, really. You would love it to be smoother, perhaps, at whatever stage you are. You want to be able to review your applications and the downloads in one system, in one place, where you can also categorize and improve those applicants, approve those applicants. I think I said improve. You can create and send invoices based on what they've applied for, and everything's in sync and really in the same system as your CRM. So it's through that we're going to showcase these three scenarios, really in working to achieve all those expectations. And that first scenario is at the early stages of that student journey, and that is where we're attracting, engaging, and really accomplishing what we call lead generation in student recruitment. Okay, let's pause for poll number 2. Again, these are anonymous, so let me know, what is your greatest challenge in providing an online application experience for your prospects and your staff? Is your greatest challenge, you think, the administrative stress? Is it tracking the growth and development of your individual leads to student? Is your challenge primarily in reporting, or is it that your systems just feel too old school for you? So we'll go ahead and launch that poll, and we invite you to join us to engage and tell us how you feel about, what is your greatest challenge in the student application, online application experience. I'll use this moment while you're voting to remind you you'll receive the recording You'll get a recording of this webinar in your email in the next few days, probably early next week. All right, let's go ahead and see the results of our poll. Okay, leaning toward the tracking of growth and development. That's okay. That's really helpful to know. And again, we appreciate you engaging here and letting us know what the realities are with you today. Let's begin in that early scenario where, we're just sitting on the homepage. Let's think of the homepage and think of those calls to action that really engage the prospective student. The two biggies are, of course, apply. So granted. And then the other is more of that that kind of get them initiated early on. So maybe it's a virtual tour, maybe it's request information. Those are, the ones you really want to just get them to click and fill out a basic form and get engaged, not just to read pages and leave, but to actually identify themselves and have them raise their hand. Yes, I'm interested. Let's talk more. Well, imagine if you could have a button on your homepage that said, build your learning experience. Or in other words, see what it would look like to attend classes here. That's a really engaging invitation. And that's what this system is going to be able to offer in what we call the quote builder. And it's a part of this system. So in addition to the application itself and the online application abilities, you're going to see an extended ability called the quote builder, which allows students to build their desired student experience. They pick their pricing, their course, their campus, their accommodation. Do they need airport transfer? There are a lot of different variables that you can put in here, and they're smart fields. So when you check one, for example, campus, it will show the campus, the courses that are offered at such campus. So that's something that really is a win-win because it truly engages the prospect and it really gives you information that can help you follow up with them and have a better chance of recruiting them to be a student, to apply and be a student. And it's now, as I kind of set up the scenario, I'm going to let Elias knock it down, so to speak, basically show us that experience, that scenario in the HEMSP system.
Okay. So aside from, of course, connecting your website forms, landing pages to HEMSP, grabbing all those leads from different connected forms, you have also the option to create applications with multiple steps, and each step will contain a specific type of fields. And this application will have a login page, which in HEMSP, you have three types of login pages, different designs. You can, of course, customize the form by adding, maybe if you have multiple campuses, a campus field, a program field, and capture this information early in the login page. So when they land on the login page, of course, it could contain your branding, logo, and you can have your own subdomain. And once they click this apply now or register online, they will be redirected directly to this login page. And applicants can start processing their application by simply signing up, and then they go directly into the application. Now, all this is done in the application builder in HMSP. You can decide how many steps, and inside each step, you have a number of fields that you can add. And they could be date pickers, it would be list fields, text area fields, a country list. And once they fill a section step here, they have the option to save and continue. Now they can simply log out, sign out, and then come back at any time to continue their application. If you have multiple campuses, you can have a step where you can show these campuses and programs related to these campuses, and of course, the dates and schedule for these programs. Applicants can select the campus, program, and dates. And also you can add an uploader step where you can collect documents from them. So you can add a document to document uploader. You can collect documents, you can PDF, pictures, doc, and they'll all be saved in the applicant profile in HEMSP. As a final step, you can have consent checkboxes, signature, and of course, dates. Once they submit the application, you have two choices. You can connect the application to a payment gateway if you collect application fees, or if not, you can redirect to the applicant dashboard. In the applicant dashboard here, applicants can view the application details they submitted. They can receive shared documents from the school side and also messages. They can even start new applications if this is allowed in the application settings. So this is the application form. Now also, as Scott mentioned, related to the code builder, we can have a code builder. And here I'm going to add one manually. So basically, in the code builder, you can have some campuses, accommodation, transfers, multiple steps added. So what I'm doing here is adding a quote manually. You can assign an agent if you work with agents. There's a recruiters hub, I'll show you this after we add the code. You can manage agencies and agents. And what I'm doing now is adding a booking manually. So I'm impersonating and adding a booking. So this is the code builder, which is built and attached to the application. Same application that I showed you before. So in the code builder, you have the option to add your campuses. And based on your campus selection, you can have courses and variations, of course, of courses and dates. They can select the available dates. And as you can see here, I'm selecting and it's populating in the code summary, all the details, my selection. You can add accommodation and of course also provide dates for the accommodation. You can add a transfer option. You can have a transfer. And finally, the last step be to receive a summary of this code, or you can, book on behalf of the student. You can even generate an invoice. So here we go. I'm generated just an invoice. And you can simply stop impersonating, and now your booking is added to the system. Now, the same booking system, you can place it on your website. The students can go there and they can do their booking. So what you're seeing here is the booking that I just initiated. And what I can do here also is generate an application for this booking. So extra information. So this same applicant, and I can simply generate an application. And as you can see here, this is the summary of my booking. Now add it to the first step of the application, and I can go ahead and continue filling the application and submitting this one on behalf of the student. Now, as I mentioned, the Recruiters Hub. In Recruiters Hub, you have agencies and agents. You can have the agencies, and you can invite other agents to join this agency, and you can see the applicants that are submitted by each agent. Back to you, Scott.
And what's really cool about this is technically you're seeing all of those pieces in one place. Of course, the application, as we've discussed, it's that quote builder that allows you to offer that call to action to a prospect who's not quite at the stage yet to fill out an application. Yet it does engage them, and it allows them to kind of see what you offer, when, what it will cost them ultimately, and whether they kind of back out and say, just send this information to myself so I can save it for conversation and consideration. Whether they do that choice, or at the end, if they choose to proceed into an application, either way, you got their contact information and a whole lot of data about them, what they're interested in, to follow up and have nice, specific conversations with them. So it really works strategically as well as technically. And that's the whole idea of the quote builder aspect, in addition to the application portal. Now let's look at scenario number 2, where we're really in that lead nurture and pipeline management. Here is where we want to kind of think, well, we want to hear what you think about the online application portal and CRM, and where it contributes the most to your school's success. Do you think these systems are most useful at the top of the funnel, in the middle of the funnel, or the bottom of the funnel? Go ahead and make the poll live, and we'll allow you to register your vote. Do you think it's throughout the whole funnel that it has a touch? You let us know kind of what it is in your experience. Again, these are anonymous votes, so let us know kind of what you think about where these systems can contribute the most. And then we'll go ahead and show the results. Let's see those results. And while we bring up the results, remind you that you'll receive in the email a recording of today's webinar. You'll get that probably in the days early next week. So we've got a split group, two of you who are voting. So there's more than just 4 of you online here, but 2 are at the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and others saying throughout. And it's not necessarily a trick question, but it is throughout the funnel that this can really have an impact. What I take away from this is, and we saw the same in our earlier webinar that we offered on the other side of the globe, there were a lot of votes for the top of the funnel. And it's interesting. It means that that's where you're applying these systems, right? It's where you're putting them to use, and maybe they're being most of use to you. So that's useful information, not to just drill that down, but appreciate that. Thank you. So let's look at the funnel, and we're going to kind of walk through this lead nurturing process and kind of break it down, and then it'll introduce Elias's next demo. It's in that top of the funnel, this traditional marketing funnel, that you're in the awareness stage, right? You're offering personalized resources like brochures, virtual tours. You're trying to attract interest. You're using dynamic communication tools like email, SMS, WhatsApp, phone, and you're really just in the mode of building connections. Now, when that student drops down a little further, where you are among the select few that they're using in consideration, they're going to consider you against a couple of others as to where they want to attend. So you're one of the finalists. This is where you're leveraging behavior tracking to identify who are these folks who are most interested, coming back to the website, opening your emails, replying to your emails, and filling out those more engaging forms, those deeper forms. This is where you're sending tailored follow-ups based on application progress or area of interest. And then it's near that bottom of the funnel where they're really at decision point. They're filling out the application. This is where you want to provide timely reminders. For example, you haven't yet completed your application. And it's a great way to follow up to say, can I help you complete that form for you? This is where you're using automated updates on application status, really to keep them informed of where they stand, of the deadlines, of the decision dates, keep them engaged. And we see that this system particularly can help you in all those stages, with the quote builder in that awareness stage, for the communication pieces, which you're about to see in the nurture stage, and then in the online application, payment portal, and SIS elements near the end. I'm including this screen right before we get into Elias's next demo, just to illustrate. This is a capture from a CRM. And some of you may say, we have a CRM, we love it, we've got a lot of automations, it's been crafted for us by us, and we're really rocking with it. This is to show that anything you get from the online application portal or the quote builder will seamlessly drop into your CRM. As long as your CRM is API friendly, our system is API friendly. That simply means that these two systems can talk to each other in real time, and the data can be sent from one to the other, so that what you see in your HEMSP, you'll also see in your CRM. And so all that specific data that they fill out in those quote builder or application forms, program, campus, start date, accommodation, that can all live in your CRM as well. So now let's hand it over to Elias so he can take us on the live version of what that looks like.
Okay, so this is the HMSP backend. This is where the school can manage, all your leads, applicants, students, even agents, mostly leads and applicants coming from different sources. So on the main applicants page, as you can see here, you can track the progress of the application. You can track even payments if you have payments connected to your application. And once you click a contact, so here's the contact profile, you can view the information that was submitted, the submission form, submission for the application with the multiple steps. You can see all the information. You can manage the status of the submission. You can track the history from the moment they started their application. You can check the files that were uploaded. You can download these files. If you have payments or invoices generated for registration fees, you can check them under the finance option. You have the option to add invoices and even receive payments manually. If you have an integration, you can enable it for Adobe Sign or DocuSign. You can generate contracts that require signature. We call them here envelopes. So an envelope will contain a number of documents that require signature from the school and the student. So you can send this envelope. Of course, you need to prepare the contract. The contract will map, the application fees to this contract. And once the mapping is done, we create this envelope and you can generate this contract and you can send it for signature. So again, this is an Adobe Sign example where a contract here, you can see that the student will receive first the contract to be signed, then the school will receive it. So you can simply send it. Let's move this. You can preview here the contract that is now grabbing all the information that is mapped. So as you can see, this is a contract. All this information is mapped, taken from the application, taken from the different custom fields, and you can edit any field or any value before sending it for signature. So back to the applicants. You can also generate very simple documents that require no signature, like, for example, acceptance letters, welcoming letters. You have a documents menu where you can upload these PDFs or docs, map them to the existing fields, and then you can generate them directly from here. So this is, for example, if I show you, this is a PDF. I can simply use it. And then once mapped, I can generate the document and I can share it with the student. It will go to that student dashboard. They have a documents menu and you can view the document, which is directly mapped. All this information was mapped, the first name, last name, dates, all the different information mapped with the profile. You can send emails. You have an email menu here, And you can, we code usually themes, part of the setup. We code themes, and you can create templates based on these themes, and you can send mass emails. You can send direct messages. So again, as I showed you in the student dashboard, there's a messages menu. You can send messages directly to the student, and you can attach even files. They can reply to you. You can create internal tasks. So you can create a task, assign it to your colleague. It can be, a to-do, call, email, meeting task. You can attach files as well. And once the task is created, you can even complete it once it's done. You can enable the add-on for SMS. You can send SMS. All these actions are available. Send email, send SMS. You can send SMS to the students. They can reply to you. Everything is synced to their profile. And finally, you can add notes and even pin them, and all pinned notes will be visible for everyone. Aside from these different activities, you can also automate. We have an automation menu. You can automate payment notifications. You can assign contacts entering the system. You can even automate task creation. So based on submission status. So if I change the submission for the application that was submitted, then create a certain task, assign it to someone. So different automations can be created, and you can track the logs of these automation. Back to you, Scott.
I hadn't seen that automation of the task assignments. That's cool. I like that. Awesome. So now we're headed straight into our third scenario, which is student information system. And really what we're talking about here, there's a lot less setup. Just to say, we have in one system a new lead that came in, a lead that went from maybe the quote builder inquiry to an application. They went from an application now to you having approved them. You've done your communication back and forth with them. They've signed all your documents. They paid their invoice through the online payment portal. And in this one system, we've done all those things. Now we're going to just change their category from approved to student. And this allows us to assign them into programs, cohorts, where your instructors are assigned to classrooms, cohorts, and now they can, within their cohort, monitor attendance, drop in their grades, all that information. And again, this just reiterates, we're doing, kind of meeting the high expectations of the students in one system. We're meeting the high expectations for you in one system where it's centralized, it's enhanced tracking, and for the student, it's user-friendly because there's no movement. Everything that they've filled out just drops in where you need it. They don't need to fill anything out a second time. And the communication is certainly, it's a whole lot more seamless in this regard because there's less of a chance for things to be dropped. So let's have Elias show us that SIS demo in the system.
So another module, which is the student information system, where you can manage students. Now, of course, if you have an applicant, to convert an applicant to a student, you simply go to the applicant profile and you simply change it from applicant to students. Now, I can see this contact, the student in the student table. Now, this students is added here. And of course, aside from managing students, which also they have the same activities that you can use, another two tabs are added, the attendance and grades. So you can view their attendance and grades once they become students. Now in HMSP part of the main core setup, you can add your programs, you can add your courses. So for example, for this program, I can see the courses that exist. I can see the start dates. I can activate, deactivate start dates, all these start dates we saw in the application. But also when creating start dates, you can also create the cohorts, different cohorts for these different start dates. Same for courses. You can also, if you have courses, you can check the course. So it's this program belongs to this program. You can check the course date and the course cohort. In the SIS, you can create instructors, assign them to specific courses. And I'll show you here the instructor login. So I'm going to impersonate. You can impersonate the instructor. So that's the instructor interface. They can see a calendar. They can see the lessons. And they can see the list of courses here. So if I click on a lesson, they'll be able to add attendance and, of course, the grades. Aside from the instructors, you can create classrooms. So classrooms and assign slots for these different classroom. This is a classroom for a specific campus and the dates and a schedule for the classroom. Now the cohorts, which contain the group of students. So these are here the list of different cohorts. You can filter by course cohort or program cohort by course. So if I take, for example, the introduction here, this is a course and I have this cohort. I can see that I have 4 students within this cohort. I can check the student list. I can add more students manually. I can export the list of students. I can see the lessons. Also, back here, jumping to the lesson, you can add more lessons to specific courses. So you can add lessons for a course. You can add the course. Once you add the course, you can select the cohort, the course cohort that exists. And next, you can see here, add the weekdays for these lessons, the existing instructor, the campus, the classroom, and you select the schedule, and this will create automatically the lessons. It shows the cohorts, still no students for this one, and the classroom, and then you can save the information. Back to you, Scott.
Awesome. Okay, I know we're running a bit near the end of our time, so I want to wrap it up quickly by covering one last topic of measuring progress and results. As I step into this, I want to remind you, if you have a question for us, for me or Elias, just type it in the Q&A prompt in the Zoom menu bar, and we'll read and answer your questions as soon as we're done here. And again, we're just wrapping up. One other piece that's really important and useful in this system is your ability to filter and report categories and progress. So you can filter across the top of most fields in terms of contact type. This shows you an example of if you wanted to see just the applicants who have progress status other than 100% or less than 100%. If you want to do a report on who has been invoiced and who has provided payment, those types of elements allow you to make a shorter list, and this becomes a contact list that you can reach out to and make your decisions. It just makes your work a whole lot more streamlined. So filters are by contact type, application progress, campus, by program, really kind of goes across the board as to all of those points that you offer. Each of those drop downs across the top list everything you have available. You choose what you want to see, and it'll build the list for you. And that allows you to really reverse engineer all of that. The fact that our HEMSP is granular to that degree, it allows you to look at in your CRM, for example, a report such as this. And this is what a CRM is really good for in terms of creating those reports that identify, here's how many leads we received from the application portal or the quote builder. Here's how many enrollments we received as a result. This is just, from demo data of us just noodling with the system. So it's the kind of metrics that you really want to be tracking each quarter, each term, and that because this is all available in that degree from the HEMSP, it's going to be a whole lot easier to see that data in reports. So as we go into key takeaways, I'm really just going to kind of let this speak for itself as we go over to the Q&A, and I want to, again, encourage you to type in any questions that you might have based on what you've seen so far. I'm interested to know if this is above and beyond the system you currently have, or if it's very much in line with the system you currently have. Every system's a little unique. Ours, it's important that you note, was built here in HEM. It was built by Elias and his team, and that's important because it's based on the input we received from you, from administrators, from schools all over the world. Again, all types of schools, large and small, language schools, universities, career colleges, you name it. We're getting that feedback on, I wish I had a system that did this or did that, and that's how this was built. We're happy to provide you a free personal demo to dig deeper into your school's particular needs and what features are most important to you. So please do reach out. So I'm your contact here in the US and Canada and Mexico. So I'm Scott, and you can reach out to me via email, and my number's right here. If you're in Europe or the UK, you can reach out to Eric, my colleague, and his contact information is here as well. So we have no questions. You all have been just dazzled, and you're writing down, well, not questions, which is fine, totally fine. And what I do recommend in that case is, because honestly, it's difficult to answer questions in this kind of context because you're going to ask a question specific to your school, and this system is customized for each school. For each client we set it up for, you're going to have unique needs that you want this to really lean into. So let us answer your questions in a personal demo. We'd be happy to. Elias and I would be happy to join you together and do that. So what I'll do is I'll let you get back to your day, and I appreciate your time already that you've spent with us. Hope you have a great afternoon. Elias, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.